today I talk about plant growth promoting microorganisms, because plant growth promoting microorganisms plays a major role in plant health management. The global scenario of population increases to so many folds that necessitating the food and feed. So it is a most difficult task for all to feed the process. So food demand is going to expected by 3 to 4 pi times. So food production is also increased by 50%. So global population increase directly mitigating with the food and feed. Global warming also directly affecting the agriculture crop production. So global warming going to increase the climatic changes. Climate is nothing but environment. It is a stimulant of plant growth. Abiotic stress going to be increasing and climate change going to directly influencing the plant growth. Next level, global warming is directly affecting so many parameters of environment. Four more important one, the temperatures may rise to 0.6 to 2.5 by 2050, and 1.4 to 5.8 degrees centigrade on the whole globally by 2100 year. Such a way we experiencing melting of glaciers and unexpected floods are there, and more intensified desertification is there. The cropland and agriculture land being going to convert into desert, and thunderstorms are more, unexpected winds and storms are there. These all environmental perturbations leads to change the environmental factors. So these induced abiotic stress directly influencing the plant growth. So climatic changes, they are directly inducing the water deficiency that may directly interconnected to drought, or either excess flooding that leads to increasing the water content. Both are very dangerous. Next, temperature, high temperature and low temperature. So high temperature leads to dry and desiccation, low temperature leads to chilling and freezing. At the same time, the environmental fluctuation directly interconnected to salt concentration. The fluctuations in salt concentrations also directly influenced. High salt concentration and ions are get accumulated, gases also get accumulated, that leads to so many perturbations. Even indiscriminate use of herbicides and pesticides, these all are interlinked to chemical state of the soil health and environmental health. Radiations also going to be increasing. So radiation, IR radiation, UV radiation and X-rays, ionizing radiations are get accumulated more and more into the environment. Finally they directly affecting the crop yield. So agriculture crop yield directly decreased. Hence we need an intervention to understand the agricultural crop production in the changed phenomenon. What is the change we have? We have changed environment. Changed environment is directly impedes the plant growth. So environmental sustainable crop production is more important. So agriculture systems directly influencing by climate change. So the global agriculture crop production is directly influenced by climate change. Coming to the most important aspect, how best we could manage the resources, how best we could maintain the ecosystem for sustainable agriculture production, for sustenance of the human being. So we need to lower the threat of changed agriculture system that resulting by means of desertification and changed environment. Plants also depends on the environmental conditions. They have to establish in the system. So we require an intervention to understand the plant environment, plant microbe interactions. So plants are directly respond to environment. They dealing with the abiotic stresses present in the system. So this will give you an opportunity to understand more about to manage the abiotic stress. So if these changes will be going to accumulated more and more, they directly influencing the crop yield, and more than 50% of crop yield can be reduced directly. What are the most common phenomena observed by drought and fluctuations in the environmental stress, abiotic stress? Too much of photosynthetic reaction also leads to accumulation of more reactive oxygen species. So oxygen sequestration is going to be destabilized, and high temperature also leads to denaturation of the essential protein. So proteins are not working properly, so metabolism not fine tuned, and drought increases the salinity. So salinity, salt concentration going to be increasing, that leads to reduced crop yield and establishment of system, and cytotoxicity also increasing, and uptake of minerals and nutrients are decreasing, that leads to fluctuations in the plant health management. At the same time, changed environmental pollution, that leads to oxidizing species accumulation, ozone and sulfuric acid, oxidative damage more will be exerted on the plant system, and mechanical damage can be done by abiotic factors. Biotic factors like pathogens and pests, they are going to affecting the plant health. At the same time, cold and stress also leads to interface the enzyme activity. So in cold condition, enzymes are no more active, such a way they are experiencing so many tissue damages, and water deficit also there. So cold also withdraws the water, so ice nucleation, ice formation, that leads to rupturing the cellular contents. Coming to the global drought condition, so this is the report given by the World Resources Institute. According to that, the states and nations around the equator are experiencing more drought. Orange and deep yellow, orange, red zones, these are the 40 to 80% range of drought. Our India happened to be one of those country in orange zone, but within the India, going to the India, we have more than 40%. Telangana particularly Telangana, 54% of India countries, states are facing high to extremely high water stress. So this climate change usually experiencing by marginal land farmers, because marginal land farming system going to be affected. In India, marginal farmers are more. Marginal farmers have only 2 or 3 acres of land. In those constrained conditions, how could he achieve the agriculture crop yield? So coming to our Telangana, especially South Telangana, Adilabad, Sangareddy and Warangal, the Adilabad also orange zone, red zone. So such a way we are experiencing high drought condition. How to achieve sustainable goal? So don't bother about that. If you are understanding the environment, how plants are responded to environment, where they are present, environmental parameters and other parameters like beneficial microorganisms present in the soil, also dealing the environmental stress. So if you are understanding plant growth promoting microorganisms in a meaningful manner, we can design different types of crop producing systems. What are the plant growth promoting microorganisms? Those microorganisms which are capable of promoting the or stimulating the plant growth are known as the plant growth promoting microorganisms. Often plant growth promoting microorganisms also known as PGPR, because most of the organisms are dwelling in root surface, such a way they are called PGPR. So they are the group of soil borne bacteria, they present in the soil, nothing but rhizobacteria, hence they are called as rhizobacteria. They have the inherent property to colonize the root system. By means of plant growth promotion, they enhance the plant growth as well as the yield. So in dual role, either directly or indirectly, they help the plant growth. For the first time in 1978, Klopper and Scratch first coined the term plant growth promoting rhizobacteria to denote the bacterial populations which are present in the rhizosphere region are named as PGPR bacteria. How to classify? Several criteria are there based on the origin, based on the location, based on the function, based on the activities. We can categorize the PGPR into several groups. According to location, they can be classified into extracellular and intracellular. And based on the function, they are conveniently classified into three groups. One is plant growth promoting rhizobacteria. Some of them are biocontrolling bacteria. Biocontrolling means they are controlling the pests and pathogens. And stress homeostasis regulators, stress home regulators. Such a way, some bacteria are dealing the stress in a meaningful manner. Coming to the basic activities. So based on the activities also we can classify the PGPRs. Some of them are exerting fertilizers as like a stimulating the biological systems. So such type of systems are called biofertilizers. And some of them are phytostimulators, they producing stimulating components, so we can use for the biostimulators. And rhizoremediators, so they are used in the bioremediation process to remove the pollutants from the environment. They are also very clever to produce the pest killing chemicals, such a way they are called biopesticides. And some of them are protectants, they can protect the plant system, they are called bioprotectants. Based on the origin, they are prokaryotic, bacteria and archaebacteria, eukaryotes, algae, fungi and some lower plants. Next. So within the prokaryotes, archaea and eubacteria are there. Within the eukaryotes, algae, fungi and plants are there. Next. Coming to the association, either symbiotically associated and free living forms. Some of them are freely available and freely associated with the root system, but they may not produce the characteristic symbiotic forms in both systems. Cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, Rhizobium, gram-negative bacteria, Bradyrhizobium, Burkholderia, and fungi, mycorrhiza, Actinomycetes frankia comes under symbiotic forms. Non-symbiotic free living forms, Azotobacter, Azospirillum, Pseudomonas, Bacillus, Pseudomonas, Serratia, they are comes under the non-symbiotic form. What are the mechanisms they exert? Most of the PGPR, either they adopting biological nitrogen fixation, phosphate solubilization, or phytohormone production and biocontrol activities. So groups, biological nitrogen fixing free living groups and symbiotic groups. In the free living symbiotic groups, Azotobacter, Rhizobium, Azospirillum, Frankia and Azospirillum are the major groups. Associative symbionts, they are deeply associating. Without the host they may not survive. They are called Mesorhizobium, Sinorhizobium and Pseudomonads. You clearly find this Rhizobium species also exist in dual role. Some of them are free living, some of them are symbiotic in form. And phosphate mobilizing group, Bacillus cereus, circulans, Pseudomonas, Rhizobium, Serratia, Mycorrhiza are the predominant group. They play a dual role, either solubilizing and mobilizers. First most instance is the solubilization. Rock phosphate is get solubilized. Solubilized form is readily mobilized into biological systems because phosphate plays a major role for DNA replication and buffering effect. Coming to the biofertilizers for mononutrients, single species may provide single species, that is called Bacillus species, Burkholderia, Pseudomonas. So they are under silicates, zincs, phosphates, other potassium and other ion mineralizations can be promoted by these groups of bacteria because bacillus are a major group found in the soil. Phytohormone productions and siderophore producers. Phytohormones like indolestic acid, gibberellic acid and auxins can be produced by the Pseudomonas, Rhizobium, Bacillus, Azotobacter. So these groups are previously also covered. So these groups of bacteria are multifaceted. they may not producing single character, they are having many characters. Such a way their utilization in a proper way is very important. Biocontrol and antifungal agents, Streptomyces, Bacillus and Pseudomonas. So you see here these two groups are very numerously present in all types of groups. So such a way they play multiple roles. Streptomyces, Bacillus, Pseudomonas have the capacity to control pathogens also by producing antibiotics. What is the most important phenomenon experienced by both systems, plants as well as the microorganisms, because they are present in the environment. Environment is an accumulation of biotic factors and abiotic factors. So the inner global effect of plant is responded to both systems. So abiotic stresses include the physical, chemical, properties of the environment. Soil composition going to be changed, soil management is required, climate factors are going to affect in the abiotic stress. Plant type, genotype, genetic content, nature, developmental stages, and which stage plant is there, these all are the biological and biotic factors. Plant defense mechanism, which type of defense mechanism plant is adopting, and other microbial communities present in the system, how they are responding to microorganisms, and these all together nothing but biotic factors. Coming to the relationship between the mechanisms, nitrogen fixer mechanism, either phosphate mobilization mechanism, phytohormone stimulation system, ACC consumers, DAPG producers, these all are interacting in multi-dimensionally with each other. Such a way fine tuning of these all mechanisms is necessitated for establishment of the plant system, because plant is going to producing the required materials. So plant health is a major one. So our interest is to how PGP are best tuning the properties, because we are previously discussed so many factors. So they are the co-partners and essential partners of phytostimulators. The first, they stimulating the plant growth and establishment by producing phytohormones. Biopesticides, they secreting lytic enzymes to control the microorganisms, pathogens which are attacking on the young roots and plant systems. And they are also an active component of rhizoremediators. They are protecting the root system. These roots are also well establishing and utilizing the microbial communities for changing the environment into suitable one by means of bioremediation. Even in polluted environment also plants are present. So by using these all activities, now PGPR can be used as the biofertilizers. So biofertilizer is any kind of biological system which is capable of providing essential growth requirements for yield increase. Such type of systems are called biofertilizers. Instead of chemical fertilizers, now we are using biological systems, microorganisms. Next, in what way they are affecting the plant growth directly and indirectly? How? They are directly involving the nitrogen fixation. They directly promotes the phosphate mobilization, solubilization. They directly secreting phytohormones for cell growth and maintenance. And finally, they are also mobilizing the iron from distant by siderophore production. These are comes under direct impact methods. Next, coming to indirect growth promotion mechanisms, like that means they are not directly proportional, but their presence may be indicated. Lytic enzyme production, these are very important. Lytic enzymes going to degrade the fungal cell walls and pathogenic cell walls and pathogenic bacteria, inducing the systemic resistance in the plant. Systemic resistance, bacteria directing the plant system to adopt defense mechanisms at gene level. Some genes are respondent to pathogen, so they are learned by systemic acquired resistance. Antibiosis, they killing the special group of pathogens by secreting a range of antibiotics. Oxidation management, reactive oxygen damage is most important. If it is prevailing, cell going to be die, so that is prevented by the indirect way. Finally, plant growth is maintained, health is maintained. Such a way microbes present in the environment but microbes also experiencing environmental stress and other macroflora competing for nutrients present in the root zone. Such a way, these microorganisms are experiencing so many difficulties. They have to establish in the root system. They have to collect nutrients and water. They have to establish themselves and they have to promote the plant growth. So there is a dynamic interaction is existing. So such a way they learn so many activities. Outcome of the PGPR, we can utilize them as a biofertilizer and biocontrolling agents. So such a way, that is called rhizosphere engineering. If you are understanding the environment perfectly, plant dynamics perfectly, environmental perturbation perfectly, you can design the land farming system, and you are utilizing these systems for biocontrolling and effective biofertilizer. So PGPR plays a dual role and a catalytic role in plant health management. So according to biotic stress, microorganisms communities are responded well and they are learning the interactions. They are also dictating the plants under stress. So these dictations are very important to learn what type of microorganisms are changing according to drought. We can predict the which type of drought can be occurred in future. So we can stimulate artificial intelligence to know the future of the environmental perturbations. Plant can be either protect themselves by learning interactions, understanding the interactions. Sometimes they may be escape. Some interactions may not be inherited. They are unable to inheriting. They are unable to learn. Sometimes they may not be memorizing. So in some cases they are escaping from those mechanisms. But which type of mechanisms they are adopting, they are finally growing to protecting the plants in a meaningful manner. By understanding this abiotic stress, we can stimulate the biofertilizers. Novel biofertilizers can be designed and biocontrol agents can be designed. Plant growth promotion and health management get easy. So our final goal is to plant health management. If a plant is healthy, agriculture crop yield is more. If a plant is healthy, it is directly influenced to the soil health. It is also directly influencing the microbial health. If soil is the environment, that is an mixture of abiotic and biotic are finely optimized, growth also more. Plant microbe interactions dictating two-way mechanisms. Plant can learn, microbe can learn. Microbe also dictating volatile compounds secretion. These volatile compounds increasing the sodium potassium uptake to resist the drought. When the drought is more, then volatile compounds are secreting. This is dictating the plant to adapt the sodium uptake to protect themselves. ACC D-amino secretion is increasing, that reducing the ethylene stress. So ethylene is directly controlling the plant growth mechanism. And cytokines also secreted numerously, that are directly affecting the plant growth by secreting abscisic acid or other gibberellic acid or so many things. And antioxidants are secreted numerously. This is going to remove the reactive oxygen species. Reactive oxygen species is detrimental to plant cell health. If cell is going to die, nothing can be achieved. So microorganisms are protecting death of the cells. Next, they are secreting exopolysaccharides, forms a layer, mucilageous layer around the root system. So they are protecting as like a sheath. So biofilm formation is more. So better soil aggregation. Soil directly aggregated and attached to root system. So nutrients are get exchanged more and more. So better root growth and nutrient uptake is more by indolestic acid, unknown growth factor substances. These all are contributing to adaptation mechanism in response to stress. Who dictating? Bacteria dictating the plant system to adopt these mechanisms. So microbes plays a catalytic role. They are attached directly to root system, but where these root and microbes present in the environment. So stress present in the environment. stress environment dictating the microbe, dictating the plant to adopt those mechanisms. So when we are understanding these mechanisms in deeper and deeper, we can understand the genes responsible for stress, from different microorganisms. So these mechanisms directly protect the plant from drought and high salinity concentration. Drought is more, salt concentration is more. In high salt concentration, agriculture crop establishment is not possible, and crop yield is also not possible. And at the same time, peroxidase is going to be accumulated. Peroxidase is going to kill the cells, so they can be easily sequestered. Superoxide dismutase, L-proline production is also increases, and polyphenol oxidases, and these all are the other chemical constituents can be used directly dictated by abiotic stress. And PGP are also providing nutrients to the plant by means of symbiosis, associating in both way, symbiotically, non-symbiotically, but they are rendering more and more, they mobilizing unavailable nitrogen into biological species. Production of phytohormones, cytokine, gibberellins, solubilization of the phosphate and metals. In so many parameters, in so many characters, microbes are very good. They are enhancing the plant growth and establishment of the plant system. At the same time, they also protect from the diseases, very most important one. In biotic stress, if a plant get vulnerable, it get weak, so plant pathogens are dominating, that leads to disease. This can be easily controlled by microbial systems. They are producing siderophores, iron going to be collected, so iron is not available to pathogen, so pathogen can be easily killed. Hydrogen cyanide production, it is very cyanide compound, dangerous component for pathogens. Pathogens can be easily killed. And the production of antibiotics are produced in numerous content, so pathogenic microorganisms are easily killed. Production of fungal cell wall degrading enzymes also needed for the mobilization of carbon, see gluconases and chitinases, cellulases also plays a major role. Proteolytic enzymes, proteases, lipolytic enzymes, lipid and carbon fatty acid production. Several way phosphatases enzyme for phosphate mobilization. Such a way they are also actively involving induced systemic resistance according to stress. According to stress, plant learn the ability to get strong themselves by adopting several genetic mechanisms by themselves. So they are easily inherited, and they also communicating to other species nearby them, so entire field can be protected from the abiotic stress. What is the final conclusion? We need an intensified awareness program among the farmers to understand the deal of plant microbial interactions in the soil, but farmers are unaware about this concept. Next, PGPR plays a key role in plant growth, promotion and protection of plant health. Hence, this concept is very important for establishment of a plant. So sustainable agriculture goal can be easily achievable. And identification of prominent PGPR found in the environment plays a major role. And potential microorganisms are numerous, but designing of better protocols, adaptation of mechanisms is necessitated. The essentiality of research and intensification of education and awareness among the systems, and most important thing is that policy regulations must be regulated, and we promote the biofertilizer because many of the systems are identified but not being commercialized due to some deficiency in the process. Such a way, harmonization of the entire process is required to achieve the sustainable agriculture goal. So plant growth promoting microorganisms plays a key role in biofertilizer concept. So bioinoculants are very important. Thank you very much.